Hi everyone, I'm Gautam aka the Seeker of Wisdom. I'm a manifestation coach, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the power of saying no, be it to your SP or anyone else for that matter. Now, before I do so, I'd like to remind you guys I am available for coaching, so I offer hourly, monthly, email, and DM coaching. The link will be in the description down below for an FAQ page where you guys will have all the answers you need, and thereafter, you guys can reach out to me via Instagram or email for pricing information and to figure out what plans may be suitable for you. I also have a Facebook group where I upload resources from time to time, as well as you guys can ask me questions anonymously if you wish to do so. It's a great place. The community is awesome. Be sure to check it out. I also have a mailing list where I post articles from time to time, as well as my latest offers or any announcements I'd like to make. I'll normally do it there. And finally, I also have a Manifest Your SP self-study course, which is designed for veterans and beginners alike, which brings you right from the beginning to the end of your manifesting your SP journey. It's like a, the best way I describe it sometimes is like a field manual that every time when you have a crisis with your SP or something, you can always refer to this when you know what to do. And it's so detailed. I have been beta testing it for the relaunch right now, and the feedback has been amazing. And of course, what's neat about the course is that you get the updates for free when you purchase it right now. And this is a course that I've really put my heart and soul into it. And I really put myself in the shoes of, okay, if you're manifesting your SP right now, what would you be doing differently, how would you do it, and really coming at it from that perspective. And it has really paid off that way. So I'll be launching it really soon, so be sure to be on the lookout, guys. I'll definitely make a YouTube announcement on that. So without further ado, guys, let's get to it. What kind of prompted this video was I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about the power of saying no sometimes, right? And I think this has gotten a lot more popular, like in the recent years, but it was not really. Recently I shared a story in one of my personal accounts where I was just there's this girl who's like, okay, hey, what plans do you have for Friday? And then this girl goes like, tell me what you have and planned, and I'll exactly tell you if I'm free or not, or something like that, right? And that's the kind of approach I've taken with like a lot of people so far. And that's really with regards to like trying to protect my energy and so on and so forth, right? But at one point in my life, I remember like I was very reluctant to say no, right? And I'm talking just about friends in general, right? Like I was very reluctant to say, you know what, I'm going to say no to this. I wasn't that kind of a guy. And what it did for me was I found myself in situations where I didn't want to be in. And I used to be in the middle of those situations thinking, hey, what am I doing, right? And now there are some pros and cons to this, and I'll definitely get to that at the end of the video. But primarily speaking, like I think saying no has a lot of benefits. And like I would find myself in situations where it was very I didn't resonate with it. I felt like a complete waste of time, and I'm like, what am I doing exactly? Like, what am I doing here? This is not where I want to be right now. I'd rather be doing something else completely. And that could be sometimes be perceived as very being antisocial sometimes, and and whatnot. But I feel that you have to be there for yourself in a way that makes sense for you, right? You can always say no to things, right? Like, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. And you certainly shouldn't feel like you're going to miss out on things, because here's the thing: you can always intend that things always arrives at the right time when you have that appropriate amount of energy to deal with it. Because sometimes you just don't have the energy to go through a certain thing or an event, and you are like, you always have that fear of missing out. But you always can tell yourself from a conscious manifestor's perspective that, hey, this isn't going anywhere. When I'm ready, this event will be ready for me, or these people will be ready for me as well. And I think coming at it from that perspective will really help. Simply put, if you're not ready for something, you're not ready for something. If you don't have the energy for something, you simply don't, right? So let's talk about SP a little bit, and what saying no means with regards to SP. A lot of my clients would particularly sometimes like freak out when something like they not when they are forced to do something that they are not happy with, but they still have to kind of do it. Or they do it because they're trying to please SP. They don't want to get on the bad side of the SP. especially if, like, let's say they were in, like, say a no contact situation for a while, and then like things just started to get better, right? In those kinds of situations, so like some of my clients will be like, I'm really kind of like, I don't want to say no. I really don't want to say no. I don't want to upset him or her. I really don't want to do this right now. And I'm like, listen, if you're not comfortable with it, go ahead and say the no, because here's the thing, they're not going anywhere. The fact that you are concerned, that means you still have work to do on your self concept. So go back to the drawing board and always intend to hear favorable replies from them firstly, right? Like, always intend to hear favorable replies from them right from the start. Like when you say like, hey, I don't want to come to this event, or hey, I don't want to take things right now in that direction, right? Like let's say getting physical, right? When things are, just conforming, like that's a big thing in the community, I've noticed. And people are very hesitant, like, okay, is this really the bridge of incidents that are unfolding? But at the end of the day, if you're feeling very icky about it, I don't think it's the bridge of incidents, right? So allow yourself to say no then, and remove yourself out of the situation, right? And if SP seems upset at that moment or something like that, fine, it's completely all right? That has nothing to do with the end result at the end of the day. Remind yourself of that, right? And keep going, keep persisting, and work on your self concept, and remind yourself they're not going anywhere. They're always coming back to me. Where are they going to go? And always come at it from that perspective, and assume that they're always cool with your behaviors and so on, right? So you saying no shouldn't hinder your union with your SP in any way, unless you think so, right? And so don't be afraid of it. Certainly don't feel very insecure. We don't come from a place of fear, always come from a place of love, right? When you come from a place of genuine love for yourself, and because everyone is your push star, everyone's going to reflect that back to you. When you say no, and like, for and you, even if you tell them the exact reason, they are going to accept it. Like, if let's say you say to your SP, for example, if you're coming from a place of love and you tell your SP, hey, I'm going to say no for this event, or I'm going to say no for taking things physically at the moment, like taking things physical to that level, because I'm just not ready yet, and I am letting things like go, gracefully, and I don't think this is just the time. Let's get to know each other better. Let's grow more before we even think about such a thing, and like, let's take it slow, and and so on, and coming at it from that perspective, and like telling them, hey, I do love you and I do care about you, and things like that. When you come at it from a genuine sense of love, and when you say these things, of course they're going to let you take their space, because you're coming from a place of love, and everything, when you come from a place of love, always succeeds, right? So of course this is going to go well for you. Always come at it from that perspective, even if it's just an event, right? Like, hey, I just want to take some time off today for myself. I just want to like, get some sleep, or focus on my mental health today, just get a mental day, like a rest day for myself, and just kind of take things slow today. What are they going to say? Like, because we are being very frank with them, right? And I think, like, a lot of people, the one thing is that they're always coming at it from a place of fear and insecurity, and that is often the reason why things unfold in a way that is unfavorable for them. When they tend to say no, is they are always coming at it from a place of fear, right? Fear that, okay, what if this goes wrong? Well, then guess what happens? Goes wrong, right? So come at it from a place of love, right? And even if it's with a bunch of friends or whatnot, right? Assume that they're not going anywhere. Assume that they're always there for you. Assume that you're always treated like a king or queen by everyone around you, right? At the end of the day, this is your reality, and this has to pan out in your favor, right? You are the star of your reality, right? So always come at it from a perspective that no one's going nowhere, right? Unless I say so. Everyone's always there for me, right? And I can do whatever I want, and everyone will love me unconditionally. And I think coming at it from that perspective will really help you, right? And yeah, so I feel like that's the main thing. And so don't be afraid to say no, and don't be afraid of missing out on things, because things will always be there for you, right? If you need to take a day of rest or anything like that, it's just that you're feeling tired or anything, like any of that sorts, or if you're just not feeling in alignment to a particular goal. For example, if you get a job offer and you don't feel 100% in it, right, feel free to say no. I had a client recently. I think this person was initially fired from his position, and he got into another job very quickly, right? And immediately, I think it was like literally a day or two, I would say, this person didn't feel like that job was for him, and he quit. He literally quit, right? So um, and that obviously like was like, I was like, wow, like he made that bold decision. I was really really proud of him for, like, you know what, saying this isn't for me, I'm going to say no to this. Like literally, I think it was the second day, and guess what, immediately, I think it was like a day or two later, this person found another job which was completely in alignment uh, to him, and he really resonated with it, and he started work the next week, literally. So he got fired from one job, went into another, said no to that, got into a job that was completely in alignment to him, right? So this is what happens. Miracles happens when you allow yourself to be your own true self, and the desires, like the higher self always gives you things to express itself in the best possible way. So of course, don't be afraid to say no. Now that said, all these things said, right, there are some cons to saying no sometimes, and I want to address that because I don't want this to just be a one-sided video. There are times when sometimes just getting out of that rut really really helps, especially if you are in like a like swirling in a wallow of like self-pity and so on and so forth, right? Especially when it comes to SP or things like that. For example, if you are kind of stuck in that same situation and things like that, just saying yes to things doesn't hurt, right? It kind of just breaks the mundane routines, and it kind of it allows you to take things spontaneously, right? Saying yes to things like if a friend calls you for a drink, or just to catch up for lunch or something, it kind of just breaks the mundane routines, and that spontaneity might just be the thing you need to kind of drop your desires, if you will, right? If you have a lot of resistance with regards to your desires, if you feel like you are just putting a lot of pressure on your desire, that very like outing with your friend, or like spontaneously, or that anything that you may do spontaneously could very well be the thing that allows you to drop your desires, right? And just kind of let it go and just allow yourself to live that life, and that could be the very thing that kind of gets you your desires at the end of the day, because you are dropping all the resistance there, right? So in that way, you could definitely say that sometimes saying yes has its advantages, right? It's definitely on a case by case basis, and you have to evaluate it for yourself, right? As grown adult, you have to sit down there and think, okay, hey, am I saying no because it's really because of my mental well-being, or am I really stuck in that kind of rut and I feel like I have to do something with regards to my manifestation that I get it, otherwise if I don't feel like I'm working on it, I will never get it. What is it that's going on here? And you have to be really honest with yourself, otherwise it's it's going to be a thing where you're probably stuck in a cycle, right? So you have to ask yourself, which of this is this, and what situation am I currently going through? Should I say yes, should I say no? And recognizing that, and intending that regardless of which one you choose, like always intending that everything always goes favorably for you as well. But again, like if you are kind of stuck in that rut, saying definitely yes to something could make the difference in kind of dropping all the resistance there. So evaluate it on a case by case basis, especially when it comes to SP. Like in my experience, like a lot of things that I've seen, when it comes to SP, it's more about saying a no than a yes, especially when they are still conforming, when they are not still showing up as the fully confirmed version. In those cases, like it's probably more likely a no. In cases like jobs, you kind of can ask yourself like, okay, is this really the job I want? And not just, am I just taking it out of fear or desperation or lack that, okay, I will never be able to find a job, or am I taking it because this job is highly aligned with me, for example? Ask yourself that, and the results will definitely surprise you, right? And I think like being honest with yourself is the key here, right? That's the key here. Like when I took that decision to take that gap year, was I afraid? Absolutely, But I guess like one thing that I did was to see like, okay, what's the consequence of not doing it. And I think like coming at it from that perspective, that will really help you, just being honest and just kind of sitting down and reflecting, doing that introspection within, and like just kind of seeing it from that perspective of, okay, like I'm going to evaluate all scenarios probably, and seeing like, okay, what am I leaning towards more, what am I really resonating with, what excites me. That's a good indication sometimes, like, okay, am I being excited about this, am I leaning towards this or that. And yeah, so sometimes saying yes might feel a little daunting, but like, see like, okay, what if I don't do this, like where what am I going to be doing? If it's something going to be the mundane same old thing, go ahead. If you feel like you're just going to be stuck there thinking about your desires all the time, or thinking about your SP all the time, allow yourself to take a break, go do something spontaneously, and come back and rest, for example. And that could be the very thing that manifests and brings your desires into your reality, because you have done all the work, and all that's kind of stopping you from receiving your desires is that kind of you putting that pressure on the situation by just waiting and like just holding on to it too tightly. And when you just kind of let it go, it just kind of flows into your life. Like that has happened for a lot of people, and I'm sure you have heard stories like that as well, or it could have even happened for you. So kind of see what works for you and what doesn't, and make a decision on that. So let me know, guys, what you guys think. And if this video resonated with you, be sure to drop a like, turn on the bell notification so that you guys will know when I upload a new video every single week. Be sure to subscribe, as it goes a long way for me, guys. You guys have been really supportive of all that I'm doing right now. So guys, thank you so much, guys. Stay safe and happy manifesting. Peace.